We've got an update on the next UFO hearing in Congress. We got that and a lot more to talk about today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I'll talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, yeah, this is from Ask a Poll. This is from Walker Whalen and Matt Laszlo. So Matt's getting a little help out there to Ask a Poll. That's nice. That's nice. Anna Polina Luna and Tim Burchett commenting about the next UAP hearing. Let's see. Key Luna, when asked about the next UAP hearing, is it going to be after August's congressional recess? She says, yeah, it's likely, because we just need a couple of months to prepare for it. So actually, Tim had mentioned this last week, and as our chairman of our UAP caucus, he's going to be working on, I think, helping us to facilitate the next hearing, which again, I think will be on USOs/UAPs. So yeah, it's interesting that she highlights USOs this time around. So are we going to get Tim Gallaudet out as a witness in this congressional hearing? You know, I have to wonder, because obviously that's, you know, the drum that he beats, right? Is what is going on in our oceans. And that is a very important question to ask. And I would love for them to address that in a congressional hearing. So that's awesome. Senate sniping. I've been very frustrated because I feel like, especially with the work that we've done, we really haven't had a lot of conversations with the Senate, and we're completely open to that, Luna tells us. Yeah, that's interesting that there might be a disconnect between the House and the Senate on UAP. Obviously, both of them are pursuing UAP transparency in their own ways. You know, the House Oversight Committee did the David Grush hearing, etc. The Senate, we have the Schumer-Rounds Amendment. We have Senator Warner, who might be leading the charge to give some sort of audit or review of Arrow. You know, so we have different spheres doing different things, but maybe not working together very well. So it's interesting that she brings that up. I wonder if that could potentially change. That'd be awesome. So let's see. Follow-up Energy Secretary and hot UFO seat. Yeah, talking more about Granholm, the Energy Secretary that she grilled, that Luna grilled. The question was, did your questioning of the Secretary of Energy change the direction of where you want to go with the investigation? No, but you can see she actually completely disrespected Burchett, like lied, like, oh, we don't have any records of that, when clearly I literally had documentation. They try to poo-poo a lot of stuff, and that's terrible. So yeah, you know, it's unclear to me how much Granholm knows. Is she, you know, intentionally kept in the dark so that she can't address stuff like this? Or is she just flat out lying? I don't know, but I love that Luna was able to grill her on a few things. And we got to see her reply to Tim Burchett and Anna Polina Luna about the drone incursions at the military facilities. And you could actually kind of hear the quotation marks in Granholm's voice when she talked about drones. And there was like a pause every time she said drone. It was like, drone, and you could hear the quotation marks. And then she said we would have to talk more about this in a closed hearing, meaning obviously that there's more to talk about than simply drones. So yeah, what would they have talked about, or maybe what did they talk about behind closed doors? I would love to know. Meanwhile, 2 U.S. astronauts are set to be left on the International Space Station for a fortnight longer than expected. This has got to be from the UK, right? Fortnight. Boeing Starliners returned to Earth from the International Space Station with its first crew of astronauts has been pushed back to June 26. NASA astronauts Barry Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams were launched aboard Starliner on June 5th and arrived at the ISS. However, their arrival followed a 24-hour flight in which the spacecraft encountered 4 helium leaks and 5 failures of its 28 maneuvering thrusters. NASA's Commercial Crew Program Manager Steve Stitch told a news conference the new delay of the return of Starliner is intended to give our team a little bit more time to look at the data, do some analysis, and make sure we're really ready to come home. The latest in-flight problems follow years of other challenges Boeing has faced with Starliner, including a 2019 uncrewed test failure where dozens of software glitches, design problems, and management issues nixed its ability to dock at the ISS. A 2022 repeat uncrewed test had a successful docking. And we've got more stuff about the whistleblowers. New Boeing whistleblower shared chilling account of retaliation, senator says. Yes, whistleblowers are coming forward, but they are facing retaliation. Perhaps even worse than that, or perhaps the retaliation is pretty bad in some cases, as we've talked about before. So what the heck is going on at Boeing? Is it just a massive amount of corruption going on, and so they're not putting the money into the things they should be putting the money into? What the heck is going on over there? Either way, it's not good, and it's even having consequences for our astronauts. Meanwhile, the drones that are over our military bases and nuclear installations in the U.S., not limited to the U.S. This is from the UKDefenseJournal.org. Drone threat concerns as 25 spotted over nuclear facilities. I'm trying to say that right. Moving on, guys. A recent disclosure under the Freedom of Information Act has brought to light a worrying series of drone sightings at British nuclear facilities. Over the course of 2 years, from 2021 to 2023, the Ministry of Defense logged a total of 25 incidents involving drones near these highly sensitive sites. The data constrained by technical issues preventing access to records. Yeah, we might want to put technical issues in quotes here. The data constrained by technical issues preventing access to records before August 2021 include a range of episodes from alarm activations and direct sightings to authorized drone flights. So there were actually authorized drone flights, but a lot of these things not authorized and not understood. There are UAP/UFO/drone incursions over facilities in the UK as well as the US, and of course likely around the world. So if Granholm was right and it was just drones from a foreign power, what foreign power is that? Pretty foreign is my guess. Meanwhile, DARPA is testing its manta ray underwater drone off the California coast. Yeah, more drone stuff. This time from DARPA. They're developing a laser using quantum entanglement. I reported on that yesterday. And now they've got these crazy manta ray underwater drones. What the heck is DARPA up to? My God. DARPA has been doing some stuff over the years. I don't know what. I don't know if it's for the good or for the bad. But now they've got their own USOs. There you go. That is a thing now. That is a thing. Meanwhile, remember the Five Eyes UAP conference or forum or whatever that was headed by the lovely Dr. Shankar Patrick? Well, Nick, I don't know his last name, he just goes by Nick, has submitted a FOIA request in New Zealand to get to the bottom of it, at least to New Zealand's involvement in that Five Eyes conference. Let's see, documents and information related to May 2023 UAP briefing. Okay, not conference, briefing. Let's go with briefing. In New Zealand Defense Department involvement. I get DZ, is that defense? So there you go. We are going to get to the bottom of that Five Eyes meeting led by Shankar Patrick. Was that an actual UFO meeting where they were actually trying to understand UFOs and how to come to grips with the UFO issue? Or was that some sort of disinformation related thing? How do we continue to hide this from the public? Obviously, if it's the latter, they're probably not going to get anywhere with a FOIA. They're just going to continue to hide it. But who knows, guys? Maybe something will slip through the cracks and we'll actually get some information about what was going on at that intriguing Five Eyes briefing led by the lovely Dr. Junker Baxter. Okay, moving on. Meanwhile, this is hilarious. Shared by Ashton Forbes. Cosmic Summit attendee meets e-girl. I can't play very much of this because she just got music playing in the background. I don't know what this is. Is this like OnlyFans or something like that? And so she gets, somebody to pay for some time. And he starts, instead of like doing the romantic thing or whatever, she would typically do, he wants to talk about ancient archaeology and civilization. I'll play a few seconds of it because I know there's music playing in the background.
Pumapunku, Sacsayhuaman, Tiwanaku, Pisac, Cusco, Gobekli Tepe, and so forth.
What?
The whole thing is hilarious. You should go watch it. It is good for a laugh. But hey, it makes me wonder. Maybe this is the way. Maybe this is the way, guys. Because think about it. So you've got these influencers on OnlyFans or whatever. And if you give them some money, pay for their time, and they've got this large audience, you could lay some UFO truth on those guys. Maybe we just need to get, I'm not advertising OnlyFans or whatever, but hey, it's a thought, right? It's a thought. Let me know what you think in the comments below, but I thought that was hilarious. You go, man, you go. Meanwhile, Jay Anderson has a over half-hour interview with the first man to have one of Elon Musk's brain implants, and talking about how it has really helped him because he is crippled and it has really helped his life. Not doing superpowers or anything super fancy, but a measurable improvement in his quality of life because of this brain implant. He seems like a really nice guy. I'm so glad that he was able to get this technology, and I'm glad that it helped him. It makes me very optimistic for future brain implants. However, in the back of my mind it will always be that concern. Are we going to Borg ourselves? That's what the beings tell people sometimes. The reason why they need the hybridization program is to save their race because they have Borged themselves. Of course, that's just one of the various narratives they tell people. Sometimes they tell people wildly different things, but that is one of the ideas that they have put out there. Why they need to save their race is because they have integrated technology into their biology so much that they are no longer a viable species and must, recreate themselves using our genetics. So, that's always in the back of my mind with this technology, but it clearly is helping people and, will help more people in the future. So I need to stop being so negative about it and embrace the new age, but with that concern that we shouldn't go too far. At least that's my take. Let me know your take in the comments below. Meanwhile, Christopher Wolford has found some interesting stuff. This is from an unclassified CIA document, I believe. And the CIA was monitoring UFO conferences in China in 1993. Now, I've read this, and apparently the conference never actually went off. It never happened. The CIA wasn't able to monitor it. But it was a scheduled conference that was that the CIA was planning to monitor, I guess. There's some other interesting stuff in this document as well about the numbers of UFO sightings. There more than 5,000 sightings have been reported from the mainland and several hundred in Taiwan. So yeah, some interesting stuff coming out of what the CIA knew about what was going on with UFOs in Asia back in the 90s. Really interesting stuff. Meanwhile, check this out, guys. Graham Hancock fires back at the debunker that he faced off against on Joe Rogan. Graham was good enough to sit down with the debunker and go, mano a mano, point for point. Well, it appears that some of the debunker's points were bunk. So Graham says, "Hi Flint Dibble, I missed where you cited the source for your confident statement that there are no emissions from metallurgy in the Ice Age. A peer-reviewed paper or papers, I presume." Yeah, and so the debunker, Flint Dibble, posted this graph, refuting the idea that there could be ancient civilizations using high technology, because according to him, the ice core samples don't reflect that. Well, apparently the ice core samples didn't go back very far. I forget what the exact date was, but it wasn't even that far back. So he was just totally, throwing out a BS point to refute Graham Hancock's idea that there could be ancient high civilizations. And, he was totally lying his butt off, basically, and he got caught. So, kudos, Graham and the other people who have been digging into this for the truth about who was right and who was wrong on that Joe Rogan show. Meanwhile, a really great UFO sighting. A woman in north central Texas records 3 lights in a triangular formation. Let's check out the latest UFO sighting. This is in Texas, north central Texas. I'm in more of the eastern, central, southwest Texas, or southeast Texas. I know what direction I'm in, maybe, on a good day. But yeah, check this out. Really good formation. They are just in lockstep, aren't they? It almost looks like one large craft with the points of the craft. It reminds me of the Phoenix Lights. But what do you think? Is it one large craft, or are they individual craft moving in a very tight formation, or some sort of other dimensional ship where just these points are poking into our reality? Something like that. Let me know your thoughts on this really cool UFO sighting in Texas. Meanwhile, from the Disclosure Party, they wrote to a senator that is on the Select Committee on Intelligence, asking him about his stance on UFOs. And they got this reply from John Ossoff. UAP are phenomena on land, air, and sea that cannot be identified or explained. Okay, well, good. He knows what a UAP is. I mean, that's encouraging. That's encouraging, guys. I'll take it. But he does go further. Many Americans have asked for greater government transparency about UAPs. As a former investigative journalist, I have long been an advocate for transparency and public access to information. The federal government must defend the U.S. and protect Americans from threats to our safety and security while upholding our civil liberties and civil rights. That requires scrupulous attention to Americans' privacy and civil liberties and aggressive oversight of federal agencies. As your senator, I will consider relevant legislative initiatives on this subject with your views in mind. So, I mean, it sounds like the typical kind of thing you would get from a politician, but at least he does say that he is an advocate for transparency. And he was a former investigative journalist, and so that's encouraging. So that's something, guys. Again, I will take it. We can ask for better, though, and we actually got some good comments from AOC here. She's talking more about the corruption side of things. That's what gets her in the door on UFOs. But she is very against the corruption, especially in the private industries. And let's listen to her talk about that for a minute.
In dollars that we spend on defense, do you know how much of our $800 billion in defense goes to defense contractors, private companies, of our whole defense budget? Half. 50%, almost $400 billion goes to private companies out of the U.S. defense budget, to companies like Boeing and Lockheed Martin and all of that. And how many audits has the Pentagon passed? 0. And there have been people that have been trying to draw attention to this. I'll link one below that was on 60 Minutes, trying to sound the alarm about the corruption and greed of the defense contractor industry in this country. And so, do I think something is going on? Yes. There were specific defense contractors named. There were programs that were being abused that were named.
Here she's talking about UFOs.
And Do I think there are grounds to pull on that thread further? Yes, I do. And I think that it should be pulled further. Do I know what it is? No. Am I going to be a hater? No. But I'm always interested in corruption and cover-ups. Like, that's my thing. Other people are more specialized in the other parts. You know? Those are my thoughts on it.
So there you go. Those are her thoughts on UFOs. She's less interested in the UFOs themselves, or at least that's her public stance, but she is adamantly opposed to the corruption involved in the UFO cover-up. Like I say, whatever gets her in the door, there is certainly a lot of corruption to be exposed, and if that is what she wants to do, then kudos to AOC. Meanwhile, getting back to Tim Gallaudet, he sat down with Ross Coulthart. I think this was in 2023, but this interview is just now released, and he has a different take on UFO disclosure. Or with him, maybe we should say USO disclosure, but let's give a listen.
Can I ask you this? I can understand why it might be decided by very senior people in the Defense Department that we shouldn't reveal technology because it's a weapon, a potential weapon. It's a potential advantage in a future war. You can understand that, can't you?
Absolutely. I think some of the technology should remain classified. We don't want it to get in the hands of our adversaries. However, the fact that we're being visited by non-human intelligence, that is what I think needs to be disclosed. Now, granted, it's not an easy thing for a government to do because then they're going to admit that they don't really know what they are or their intentions, and it makes us look vulnerable. True. But I think as a society, we're ready for this. We've turned that corner.
Okay, I thought that was really interesting. Focus on the beings themselves and not the craft. So if we did that, would we get UFO disclosure faster? If we, stopped asking the government to pony up with the UFOs and we just focused on the fact of the beings being here, coming here, living here, whatever they're doing, if we just focused on the beings and their present involvement with humanity, could we open the doors a little faster with UFO disclosure? Because we do need UFO disclosure, official government UFO disclosure, pony up with those UFOs, open the doors of Area 51, reveal the depths of the dumbs, all that kind of stuff. Because we need that. We need oversight of these shady programs, that have been interacting with the phenomenon and dealing with this stuff all these years, theoretically at our behest, but really doing their own thing. So, but could we get there if we stopped asking for the UFOs, if we just focused mainly on the beings that are currently here and interacting with us? If we, went outside and sang Kumbaya and did CE5 and got the beings to come down, en masse, right? Think about it. Then the government couldn't deny it anymore. And then they would say, oh yeah, okay, here's what we got. We'll open up Area 51. You can see what we've got. I mean, just throwing that out there. I mean, that's kind of what Tim is alluding to, right? I'm not saying that's the way we should go, but that's an interesting thought, right? Let me know what you think. And thank you to both Dennis and Martin for sending this video to me. Really appreciate it. In fact, thank you to everybody that sends me links and videos and stories. I love it. It makes my job so much easier, and it also allows me to cover a range of stuff that I wouldn't otherwise get to cover. So that's awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Last but not least, isn't this gorgeous? Look at that, guys. That is amazing. This is a monastery, an abbey in a tidal island in Normandy, France. Man, that is just gorgeous, guys. I wouldn't mind being a sheep herder there. I mean, look at that. I think I'm going to be a sheep herder, guys. I'm moving to France, guys. Moving to France. Well, I don't like French food, though. I'm a Texan. I like Tex-Mex. Tex-Mex and barbecue. I don't know. If they opened a Tex-Mex restaurant there, I think I may be a sheep herder in France. Okay, let me know what you think about this amazing sheep herding setting and everything else covered today in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure appreciate it. Smash the like button, the subscribe button, all that kind of good stuff. Links to social media below, Facebook, Twitter, Discord. Love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, that'd be awesome. Grab a coffee mug or a t-shirt or a baseball cap or whatever in the merch store below. Or you can become a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you so much. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.